Alright, welcome to Module 7, How to Write Deadly Converting Email Promotions. This is by far one of the most important modules of this course because this is how you print money. This is where you actually start to make a ton of money. Now, I've also taught you already how to set up a autoresponder so that your promotions continue to go out for a time without being stopped. But now, today, what we're going to show you how to do is how to write individual promotions based on a new product that comes out in the industry, and this module will help you write better emails that'll also go into your autoresponder. Now, for part one, I want to start with subject lines. I want to talk about the most important part of an email, and that is its subject line. So, subject lines almost solely are going to determine what we call your OR. Your OR is your open rate. Now, what's an open rate? An open rate is basically what percentage of the emails that you send out get opened. You see, when someone sees their email in their inbox, so one of your subscribers gets an email, right now all they're going to see initially is who it's from and the subject line, right? So you can start to see why the subject line is so critical in determining whether that email will get opened or not. Here are some general rules to live by for writing a good subject line. First of all, short. The shorter, the better. There are some marketers out there who I have seen use long subject lines very effectively. It just so happens to be that they have trained their readers to expect long subject lines. Personally, I have seen mostly, and maybe 90% of the cases, shorter subject lines will always work better. Second, use numbers. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, so and so makes X amount of dollars, that X amount of dollars would be like maybe 10,000 something, or 6 ways to cure your arthritis tonight, or uh, you get the gist. Basically, 52 ways to do this, or it's just specifics. Numbers draw the eyes because they are specifics. They sound factual. They are different than most of the subject lines the person is going to have in their inbox. Third, go for the wow effect. Okay? Now, I don't literally mean put wow in your subject line, but something big, something huge, something enormous. For example, you have a student who made $189,000 in 7 hours, and you want to put an email out about that. That is a wow. Or you have a health newsletter, and someone cured their diabetes in 13 days or less. That's a wow. You want to get that into your subject line. Fourth is we've actually done tests on this multiple times in multiple different niches and have found using the first name command in your subject line will have a drastic increase on your open rates. Now, what does that mean? When I put parentheses fname close parentheses, you're seeing it on your screen, that doesn't mean you put literally that in your subject line. No. See, every autoresponder has a command, a code you can use to draw that person's first name into the subject line. What this means is every single email that goes out, the system will look up to see what that subscriber's first name is and input it in place of where you put the command fname. So when they get an email, it's not just going to say, hey, how are you? It's going to say something like, hey, Anik, how are you today? You would be surprised, amazed, and shocked at the massive impact that that has on the open rate. Now, here's a really sneaky trick for writing great subject lines. This one I found recently, just months back. Now, in marketing, people will always teach you that, people love misery. It's so sad, but people love to hear about, that's why tabloids are so successful. That's why entertainment TV shows are so successful, because people love to see what other people are going through, especially if it's like something bad. It tends to draw the curiosity. Well, one of the best open rates I've ever had and the best click-through rates, which you're going to hear this word too, CTR, it means click-through rate. It means how many people of the ones you emailed clicked a link in the email. It's very important. Open rate is the first metric, click-through rate is the second important metric. So the most successful one I've written in a long time was Anik declares bankruptcy. That had almost twice the click-throughs and twice the open rate than any of my other emails around it for a month in front and a month behind it had. Okay, it was a huge impact. Why? Because it piqued curiosity. My list knows me. They've known me for years, and they've known me to be someone who's financially successful. That's why you buy courses that have my name on them, or Saj's name, or anyone's name. So all of a sudden, when you hear that that person potentially declare bankruptcy, you wonder, what? Why? Now, just so you understand, I wasn't lying in the email, but I also didn't declare bankruptcy. I'm perfectly fine. However, what I meant was that I was about to show my students exactly what I would do to get back on my feet were I to be in position to declare bankruptcy. So I was creating a hypothetical situation that I declared bankruptcy, that my students could learn from that. But this is a perfect example of a time when curiosity was piqued and you could see the impact. Now, the next tip I want to give you is called negative marketing. It's not the way it sounds. It's not bad marketing. It's not like negative, positive. But negative marketing is when you see, let's say, follow along with me. Let's say there's a product launch going on. And I'm sure if you're sitting in this classroom right now, you've probably seen a product get launched, whether it be something like a movie or a video game system or a product on the internet, like a how to make money product. Everyone who's promoting that product is saying good things about the product typically. They're saying, oh, you should buy this for the following reasons. Oh, this is the best product of the year. Oh, this is that, this is that. Now, what I found is sometimes you can go the other way and draw a lot of attention. Think of it this way. Let's say there were 10 people in the room. 9 of them looked at you and told you, you should buy that car. It's an amazing car. And then one person looked you dead in the eyes and said, if I were you, I wouldn't buy that car. Of the 10 people, who are you most likely to speak to first? Exactly. You're going to go to the one person who said the exact opposite of what 9 other people said. So subject lines like, don't buy this product, parentheses, without reading this page. C, you're not about to badmouth the product. But what you're telling people is, I've got a review that you better read before you buy the product. Now, you're not necessarily saying it's a bad product. This is where you get into gray area negative marketing. You never said it's a bad product. What you want them to do is read your review before they decide to buy the product. Okay, this is going to many times draw a lot of attention to your specific email. There's a lot of them out there, and some of them get to the point of being unethical. For example, if you ever type in a name of a big internet marketer into Google, you'll see those pay-per-click ads that say, is so-and-so fake? Is so-and-so a scam? Now, again, you can imagine how if someone were to research a name and then see an ad that said, is so-and-so a scam, they're very likely to click it because they're about to buy a product from that name. But at the same time, that's just not fair to the person because it's putting a lot of negative energy out there and a lot of negative press. So please use negative marketing wisely and ethically, but it does work. It works like a charm. It's a sneaky trick. I don't ever talk about this, so do with it what you can. You have the power now, but use it wisely. Okay, the next sneaky trick is using current events. This is an amazing, amazing, amazing technique, and I've personally done it recently, but I saw it done amazingly well by Jeff Walker during his recent product launch formula launch, and it was getting amazing feedback. You see, Jeff Walker is a person in our industry who created the #1 way of launching a product. He has helped create, probably at this point, hundreds of millions of dollars on the internet for people through his formula. And he was launching 3.0, a new version of his product launch formula. And what he did during one of his pre-launches is he used the recent Apple iPhone launch and dissected how they launched their product. Now, Apple's iPhone launch that was just a few weeks back was one of the most successful launches. Well, actually, sorry, it was the most successful product launch Apple has ever done. It blew the world away. Now, why is this so smart? Well, first of all, Apple's a big company with a big brand. The news media, the internet, the blog sphere, everyone was talking about how quickly Apple sold out their iPhones. Well, Jeff was able to piggyback off of Apple's brand and draw curiosity in the minds of his readers and improve his status as an expert at the same time. Let me show you what I mean. See, when he sent an email out and it said, the subject line I don't remember exactly, but it said something about Apple's launch dissected, or how Apple launched their recent iPhone. Now, I as a marketer got immediately very curious. Now, on top of that, Jeff put himself in position to critique a company the size of Apple. So now he's building his own personal brand. He's building his expertise, but he's giving you content you won't see anywhere else. See, we spent all day, all night hearing on the news, on reading on blogs, and getting just inundated with how well Apple did their launch, but nobody was talking about how did they do their launch. So this was amazing, amazing pre-launch material. I thought it was absolutely great. And it drew a lot of curiosity and a lot of attention, and it got me to open his emails as well. Whereas I typically will always read his emails, but I might put it away to read later. Especially during his pre-launches, I almost always watch and read his stuff, but this time I did it right then and right there because I wanted to see this. Now, before I finish up this first part, I'm going to give you some powerful words and techniques that work really well in subject lines. First of all, the word free, as it does work with everything else in this world, it works tremendously well with subject lines. The F name, I already gave you that. Limited time creates scarcity, and it works incredibly well. The fourth one is using a celebrity name or a current event. In this case, I showed you an example with Jeff Walker did, and I think he used both because I believe Apple is a celebrity name. It's such a huge brand. It's got such a massive following. It's a celebrity. And it was a current event because they had just launched the most successful product of their entire tenure as Apple. The next one is posing a question. So tying these together, by the way, could be working very well too. For example, I said here, why did Google just do this? But the question I could have posed could have been, why did Apple launch a new phone? Well, I'm tying the current event together with a question. See, what happens with a question is when someone reads a question, their brain psychologically wants to seek the answer. That's how we're tuned. When you hear a question, you are trained to automatically want to know the answer to that question. So, what's the best way for you to find the answer to this question? Open the email. The next one is a technique I learned once from a speaker on stage, and I tried it. And he was talking about how to write amazing blog posts. So this technique was specifically for blog writers. But I decided to try it also in how to write subject lines, and I found that it worked tremendously well. Giving people a list, giving them a concrete list for some reason piques a lot of curiosity. For example, 5 reasons not to buy the iPhone. Look, what did I just do there? I tied together multiple strategies. I tied together the list with a current event, with a celebrity name or a big product name, with negative marketing. I did 4 things in one subject line. That subject line is going to definitely pull better than anything else I can come up with. So the big point here I want to bring out is see if you can combine and tie in more than one of these strategies into one subject line, and you will have written an incredibly powerful subject line.